some of the questions that I have, and I talked to Mr. Walker here about the insurance and stuff, about Buffy, Chad, and who's going to be responsible for if somebody gets hurt. And first, I mean, you know, so just trying to figure out, you know, can they come back and sue us? Do they need, with her handling the records and stuff, you know, as far as liability, you know, she's a contractor, is that, you know.
Well, as far as what I would, if she is a contractor, then she would need to get her own insurance and name the city or the town of Talking Rock as an additional insurer. And that's not going to be cheap to do it. It's not going to be cheap at all. So it would be, you're probably, I mean, if you could find someone to do it and give her the coverage that the town needs, it's going to be tough to find. She was actually a designated or a employee, for that matter, then yes, it is covered. And it's not going to cost you anything to do it that way. And then she would be covered under the town's policy. And, you know, just as a town clerk or city clerk, whatever you designate.
Okay.
Now, as far as the people that collect the garbage
And work, you know, the park and maintain the buildings and, you know, pretty much one shop. I don't know if you say handyman, maintenance. I mean, you know, we're small, so we don't have.
He's the town maintenance.
Yeah,
And under
so-
maintenance is taking care of the park, the buildings, whatever needs to be done.
and he drives your vehicles.
Yes. And all the driver, everybody that drives that truck, their driver's license and a driving record have been sent in
Right,
to the office.
Right, and we do have that. As far as the town is concerned, anything happened as far as vehicle accidents or a rock being thrown from a mower, you know, yeah, you're covered. As far as he doesn't carry any liability insurance himself.
Not at this time, no.
Okay, but he is exclusive to you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't know. He does other things. I mean, not connected to the town, but he does odd jobs elsewhere.
Okay.
You know? So I mean, we don't control him just to
Right.
work for the city of Jackson.
So he's
Or
not
any
under
city.
contract.
Well,
Yes, he's under contract, but we don't limit him as that we're the only person he's under contract with. And his other stuff is not contract, it's just odd jobs that he goes out and does.
Okay, just odd jobs. All right, I can,
He doesn't have a business where he goes out and does stuff for other people. It's
okay, any work that he would be doing on behalf of the town would fall under your policy.
Okay. But now you said something about, you know, where we met at City of Jasper's workman's comp thing there.
Now, however, if he gets hurt himself, he can, if he so chooses, to sue you for work comp benefits. Even though the state says 2 or more employees, that doesn't preclude him from filing suit for damages.
But even if you have the insurance, it doesn't stop him from filing suit. I mean,
No,
you know that
But-
yourself, you've
but-
got personal experience with that.
But but the insurance does help though, right? I mean, if we
oh, the
don't
workers'
have,
comp, yeah.
I mean, if we don't have workers' comp, then the city would be out every bit, not some.
Right,
You know?
if he so showed, you know,
Yeah.
sued you for him.
or somebody that was under him. And the reason I'm asking this is because, like I say, the things that y'all brought up, you know, at the workman's comp,
At the
thing
meeting.
at the meeting with the city of Jasper, you know, and stuff, and like I say, you know, I don't want to, you know, make sure that we're covered as much as we can afford,
Right.
you know.
And,
My question is though, in their contract, if we put it in their contract that they sign, that we will not provide workers' comp and that they are responsible for themselves?
I think you'd have to get with an attorney on that
I
because,
think if
But
you
what-
state it that way and they sign it, I don't think they
What
can come
about,
back.
what about somebody that helps him? Can they come after?
same way, same thing.
See, the problem is
But they would be working for him, they would go
but
back
they
to
still,
him, not
but they
us.
still come,
They can still come after you for benefits.
Well, but I mean, they can't even if they have insurance, that's the
But
thing,
why-
it's a suing society is what I'm saying.
They can come after you, but the workers' comp is first remedy.
see, that's what, you know, I'm trying to prevent, because, I mean, we don't have much money as it is. And, you know, I'm trying to make sure that, you know, and like I say, this is not 1970 anymore, so I wanna make sure that the town is covered, and that's our responsibility, that we try to make sure that that we can do everything that we possibly can.
Possibly can.
I mean.
To avoid anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, the insurance we need will probably be, you know, just like any of us. I mean, we need more than we can
You know,
afford, but
do you 1099 him?
no. Yeah, that's another, you know, I don't know. I mean, you know, like I say, I just, like I say, in this day and age, I don't know. I mean, you know, like I say, there's so many rules and regulations that
Right.
I'm trying to start with you, see
Okay.
how we're covered.
As far as the city or the town itself, you know, we'd defend you with any bodily injury or property damage to a third party on your behalf, if it was caused by your vehicle or something that they done. However, the fellow that performs it, the duty, you know, we're not gonna cover him unless he's, you know, a designated employee and or appointed person to perform those duties. Now, if they're appointed, I can check and see with the carrier, but I don't believe it will cover any a subcontractor or anything like that. Now, the only volunteers that are covered would be your volunteer firemen, which fall under the county's policy.
Now, what about if, say like we had a work day and the community came out to work? Is that still under that or is that not under that? I mean,
Well, you know, that would be volunteers. You can ask for a voluntary compensation endorsement, but I don't know of any carrier that's giving that away anymore. They used to, you could ask for voluntary compensation, and they would endorse it on the policy, you know, 70s
Well,
and
now
80s.
in the past, when the question came up, I had called the carrier and asked them, you know, we have volunteers like Heritage Days where everybody's running around.
Right.
And I had specifically asked them if they would be covered, and I was.
Oh, they're
yes.
covered for any function that they're performing for, but as far as bodily injury to themselves, it's not. Unless,
what he's saying is liability wise, they're covered, but as
Liability.
far as if they get hurt, we
But
don't
I
have
thought
anything.
I thought we had a medical endorsement on that policy.
there's no medical endorsement.
It would be only if a person is injured in the result of, say, a volunteer running over a person during Heritage Days with
Right.
a golf cart or a
Right.
gator or something
Yeah.
like that, you know, or something fell on. But as far as,
The volunteers themselves.
but as far as volunteers and stuff,
There's no medical endorsements that are available. I insure a lot of municipalities, and, you know, it's a different situation if you've got, you know, your volunteers as far as firemen, because they are mandated by law to have
Right,
voluntary compensation, so,
right,
and it's carried through the county.
right. And see, the
But
reason,
even with them, they're a separate entity, so.
Right, and it's in their name.
but yeah, but he's saying that they're covered under the county. But if we say that we provide fire service, then.
Of the county.
Yeah, I mean, if we're saying we're providing fire service, then we have to provide workers' comp on them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying, yeah, yeah. And see, here's, I mean, and this is all the reason I'm asking, because like I say, if somebody comes down here, it's just like me, if I come down here and work and I get hurt, well, then I lose this income and my other income, then I'm gonna come after somebody
Mhm.
to, that's just the world, I mean, I'm sorry, but
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is, because they've lost income both places. And, you know, they can't work there, and their workman's comp's not going to carry it because they didn't
were
have,
over here.
yeah, they didn't work on the job.
Right.
And that's the reason I'm asking all these questions is, because I don't want it to come up later down the road. Because like I say, when it comes to somebody hurt and money, you know, you can't trust,
Right.
you know, anything. I mean, because they're looking out for their family, you know. So, that's the reason I'm asking, you know, so. And that's why I asked you here. And just the cap on this is that, Caleb, you came in a little bit late, we were discussing, you know, employees, workers' comp, who got hurt and everything, but, and volunteers, and pretty much anybody that volunteers or works for the city, we don't have any kind of coverage for them. If they hurt somebody,
Medical,
yeah, I mean, any.
say it right.
Yeah.
We have liability, but not
Right.
medical.
That's what that covers if they hurt somebody, but not them. So that person can come after us because, you know, and we don't have workers' comp. Say like if you was a volunteer in a Heritage Days and you got hurt and then you come back and you come back on that.
I got you. Or you turn it into your medical insurance, if you have medical insurance. And, you know, they would try to come back against you, but if you don't carry workers' comp, you know, they.
Right. But what they do is and I've done it several times, is because they ask you, is this especially if it's a broken bone or something, it
Mhm.
says, is it workman's comp? Is it an
Right.
accident? Was you in a motor vehicle
Right,
accident?
right.
Because everybody is trying to put it out on somebody else and not pay. And that's just, you know, and that's what we're finding out. So, you know, like I say, and that's the reason I wanted you to come down here
Yeah.
to clarify that, because I don't want something to happen, because, I mean, we do have, you know, several volunteers and stuff that help. And, now, how is workman's comp is based on how much you pay that person?
Right.
What if you volunteers, how does that work?
Well, volunteers, like I say, you can't, I don't know anybody that offers
Volunteers
volunteers,
are not covered under workman's comp.
voluntary
No,
compensation.
I mean, there's nothing,
Not that I know of anymore. Used to, you could get people to endorse it on there, voluntary compensation, but like I say, that was in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, and then all of a sudden, nobody would do it anymore.
Well, it's just like when I was with the Lions Club and I fell and broke my shoulder doing volunteer work. There was nothing I could do because that was included in the application when I applied to them, that I knew that there was no medical coverage for me. And that's how they got out of paying us.
but now, does that work, well, that'd be the legal question, you said, right?
That'd be a legal question if there's, depending on how your release,
In other words, it's a
Reasons.
waiver that any volunteer needs to sign a waiver, is what they need. And we need Jeff to type us up a waiver. And I think if we had a waiver for, I mean, you need to ask him if we can do a waiver for Chad and for Buffy. And see if that would cover.
I don't think you could do away with Buffy.
Well, so you wouldn't, if she was not appointed by the council as clerk, then she really needs to be appointed in order for the liability insurance.
Oh, she was appointed, the council voted on it, so.
All right.
But she has to be, she really has to be considered an employee, is really what I'm saying. And the Georgia municipality said the same thing. You know, I spoke to them the other day.
I understand that, but my question is, you need to talk to Jeff and see if we can get by with them signing a waiver.
Not
Even if she's appointed.
Not if
If
she's an
she
employee.
agrees not to, then, like I said, it's a question for
Yeah,
Jeff.
that's up to Buffy. But like I say, she's an employee. So
Well, that's not how she was appointed. She was not appointed as an employee. She was appointed as contract labor. And it needs to be included in her contract. We did not hire her as an employee.
Okay. So, but anyway, okay. So has he answered all your questions as far as what, y'all need to know as far as the insurance? I know you got it in late,
Yeah, I got it
so,
in late, so.
You got it?
Like I say, okay. All right, thank you.
All right, just let me know if you need anything else. I'll do my best to get whatever you need. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Um, Buffy, and I don't know, I'll let you, I'd have to go back to, the minutes, to see, but was you under the understanding that you was a contractor?
I don't know. I was about an hour.
You and I even talked about that she needed to sign a contract.
Well, I never, nobody said contract. I maybe, you know,
We did.
1099, but nobody said, you know,
We
sign a
talked about
contract.
1099, and I told you that she needed, that we need to do a contract for Buffy.
But like I say, the Georgia Municipal Association says that she has to be employed. So, you know, but anyway, we'll
That's a
reach,
question for Jeff.
and I did ask that question, he ain't got back to me on that yet, so anyway, so the, one of the items on the agenda for, Thursday is subdivision of property owned by, Maurice, or, I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyway, Hendricks, it'll be the last sheet that I give y'all. On the very back, right there. It's the property of the, timber company that they bought. They bought, almost, 58 acres there, and they want to subdivide that, into, about 14.5 acres. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. They want to leave it zoned to A, so basically all they're wanting to do is subdivide it. And our code says that we, you know, they have to present it to the council and we have to approve it. One of the questions I asked Jeff, and he hadn't came back to me yet, as far as, you know, since they're just subdividing and not requesting rezoning or anything, do we have to have a public hearing, you know, on that? So So they're gonna be here, Thursday, one of the owners, and, present this.
I'm not sure that we can do that since we're not issuing authority, because we turned all that over to the county.
I thought we had that fixed.
Not yet. I just have got the stuff sent in. They had to have that resolution. I tried calling him today and he wasn't in the office. So until we get that done, I don't think we have the authority to be able to do it. And you need to read in the book, because I'm not sure that they can divide it out in that many parcels at one time.
I think they can, as long as it connects to the road, and that's what, I asked Jeff, so, and like I say, they're not asking for rezoning, you know, so. But anyway, one of the things they have to, it says that they have to, present a check for $500 for, you know, subdividing. So, that's another thing that we have to, you know, ask ourselves between now and then, you know, are we gonna require them to, pay the $500? Like I say, Jeff will be here and then we'll, but I thought we had already said that all they liked was that ordinance and we were good to go.
Well,
we might have
I've
to,
got it down there, but then once that's done, you still got to have a resolution.
that was,
No, you got to have a resolution to release the county.
So anyway, I guess I would get tabled till the next, till we get that, that resolution worked out and stuff. Another thing was, on the agenda was, Heritage Days. And you'll see on the first page of the profit and loss, that was what we took in. And the first highlighted was $4,174. The second page, down towards the bottom, it says total for Heritage Days. Everybody see that on the second page?
No?
Total Heritage Days.
Yeah, down here towards the bottom. Right there, where that arrow right there is, total.
Okay.
Okay. All right, that says $7,917.16. I've got a, under tourism other, I've got a sheet in here that shows that, but $300 needs to be added to that because an ad for Heritage Days was under that right there. So that brings a total of $8,000 or something dollars. So basically we went in the whole $4,000 or something dollars over Heritage Days.
Well, number one, are you sure that all
Yes.
the expenses were listed correctly?
Is that not correct, Bucky? Did we not look at?
Well,
That's
like,
just showing what was in there.
well, yeah, here's my question. The stuff that you bought from Lonnie Waters, did she put that in here in Heritage Days?
No, right here is shuttle expense.
No,
traffic
I'm
control.
not talking about shuttle expense. I'm talking about the money that we gave him for those 4x6s or whatever they
No,
were.
this right here is ads, this is Heritage Day, ads, food tickets, miscellaneous,
I
might
can
be,
read it.
that's $200 for Lonnie. Music expense is $1,100. The refund for $37.50, that was that booth that, they had to, security for that one night is $240. Shuttle expense was $1,100.
Why was the shuttle expense $1,100?
That was all the people that were driving the bus.
We gave them $500.
Well, then, I don't know.
That's not shuttle expense.
Well,
We
like I
gave the Explorer, we gave them a check for $500.
Well, I mean, all I can do is go on what she entered, or whoever
Well,
entered
I
this.
can't
you know.
help what was entered, but I know what that $1,100 is. That's what we gave the musicians.
No, the musicians is $1,100 up here, so I don't know what the shuttle expense.
Do you want me to see what it says it is?
Yeah. see if
Yeah,
it-
because shuttle expense should not And now if she added to, well, still it wouldn't come up to that. Unless she's adding fuel.
But anyway, here's the, traffic control expense is, $1460, and that's all the deputies and stuff. Now I didn't do the Heritage Day other, it was, we can print that, but anyway, the way she's got it in there and everything is, you know, over $8,000, and we only took in 4174.
Well, part of that money would not have had to been spent. I had already worked out with several groups the price, but then you went and told them that it was worth more, so they took the worth more.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what the deputies and all of them said. They
I'm
wouldn't
not
come
talking
down
about the
here.
deputies. I'm not talking about the deputies.
I talked to the one that was in charge of the auxiliary.
Right.
So,
And
and he,
because, no, let me,
you didn't
please
tell
let me finish. I had already talked to the ones who actually do the driving on the shuttle. And they all agreed what price that they would ask for it. But, and they would have been fine with that, but then when he talked to you, you said, well, I think it's worth $500. So even though they tried to get him to go down, he wouldn't agree, they wouldn't agree to let him go
Okay.
down.
all right. When I talked to him, he said there was nobody that was going to do that. He had nobody available to drive those shuttles. So.
And that changed because some of the people who had done it before went back and talked to him and told them how easy it was.
Well, it is what it is, and basically, we, you know, like I say, we spent that kind of money, so. And that has been a thorn in everybody's side as far as the,
Just don't have it.
then the citizens and stuff, so, we need to keep it down to, what we took in last year is 4,200, and stretch out as far as it goes, and then that's it.
Well, you can't do it.
There is, two, but the checks are for October 2017, but they say 2016 festival.
Right.
Oh, well, that was only, what, $500, wasn't it?
No.
That was $400.
So that
But
was
still,
all-
we wrote one check to the auxiliary for $500.
No, she's talking about, the rest of it shows Heritage, right?
Yeah, well, this is shuttle says $500, Lonnie Waters $200. And then the first two, the other $400 says it's from 2016. But the checks were wrote in October, it says.
Right, because they didn't get written properly and sent out in 2016.
So how much is Heritage Day in the costing us, Cody?
Well, I mean, just,
Roughly?
Well, that would
Well-
be taking $400 off of it. That would. I mean,
yeah,
if you took the two.
Well, so you could-
1600.
Well, and there was also a check to the Boy Scouts for $250 that's supposed to come off of it. There was also another check to the Explorers of $250 that was supposed to come off of it. Because we paid them for 2016 as well.
okay, so let's say that it was 7,000. So, I mean, we still spent $3,000. Right. All I can do is go on what is put in the computer and,
Well, I wasn't in charge of that, and I tried to get somebody to let me go over it, and they wouldn't do it, so.
well, I mean, like I say, it is what it is, but,
Now,
we're-
the music expense, that will be less this year. I've already got that in the works. We may not even have to pay anything for the music this year.
okay. Well,
But now
anyway,
your ads,
Yeah,
How much?
I don't remember those ads being that much, cause
How much is?
but it usually runs, unless they go up, it runs $2,500 to do the advertising. And if you don't advertise, because the previous administration didn't do the advertising and they didn't have anybody show up. So what's
Well-
the use, and if they don't show up, then your premium booths out here are not gonna come back.
well, here's I mean, here's the whole problem. I mean, we can't keep spending money, when we only take in, last year we took in about $87,000 is all we took in. I mean, we can't keep spending money, so, until we figure out some way to make more revenue, we're gonna have to start cutting so that we have money. And if the council approves, and that's another item that we need, talk about, but if we approve to pay $27,000 and something dollars for the property next door, that's gonna put us, you know, so. All I'm saying is we can't keep just throwing money. And
And I totally agree, but that needs to go across the board.
okay, so what else are you gonna cut?
Where's the money that was spent on the barrels out front?
It wasn't spent last year.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
You redid every one of those last year. Thank you very much, and you spent over $2,000 on them.
Well, that's right. That's why I said we can't
Well,
spend
that's
that.
what I'm saying.
We can't spend that.
You fuss at all the rest of us, but yet
Cheryl,
you take it on yourself to just go out there and spend whatever on them. And you can't do that.
okay, and that's what I'm saying.
And it never even came before the council to be approved.
And also I found where I was approved, where Mayor Cagle was approved to spend $5,000 a year, not a $500 a
That was
month.
changed.
No, it was not. I did not see it. I went through all the minutes. It was not. It was
Well, here's the
$5,000.
thing, well, fine, then we can re-vote on it, because I'm not comfortable with one person having the ability to go out here and spend $5,000 a month when we don't have money.
It ain't $5,000 a month, it's $5,000 a year.
Well, I don't agree with that. If anything's
No.
gonna cost that much, then it needs, just like those barrels, should have come before the council before that money was spent on. When I went to buy flowers, I always brought it before the council and got it
Okay.
approved.
All right. All right.
I'm just saying, these little things add up and nobody's paying attention to it.
You wanna say pay attention, we went over $5,000 on the maintenance budget because you approved it. We went over $5,000 on the maintenance budget because of adding the third person.
Okay,
So you wanna talk about it, yeah.
and I did that because you were in on that too.
And I told y'all.
Don't put it all on me.
I did.
There was
I
a
didn't
whole
know.
council that voted on that. It wasn't just me.
So,
But y'all need to decide, I mean, because here's the thing. If you want more sponsors for Heritage Days, then you gotta start now. You've already said that yourself. So y'all need to figure out what you're gonna do so the paperwork can get started.
well, that's
I have to
what
start on working out costs for ads now.
Well, what is consensus?
I mean, I agree that we need to come up with some sort of solution not to lose as much money on Heritage Day.
Right, because in the past, it's been around
Can't
2,000.
get rid of it, because like, I think you stated before, these shops, they make a lot of money that weekend. I mean, that's huge for them.
And it's part of community development. Y'all are talking about
Yeah.
putting in restaurants and stuff. That's how you get people in here to know that they can see what you're growing.
Well,
I don't want to get rid of it. I mean, I don't want to.
well, I'm telling you that everybody, you know, the past councils and stuff have said they wanted not to spend money and needs to break even.
Yes, at least.
Well, they're not here to agree with that, so
Well, you know, all of them,
I do know all of them.
yeah, that said that.
Not all of them said that though.
So we need to come up with something with Heritage Day to
So, okay.
cut some costs a
All
little
right,
bit, right?
let's clear something up right here, right
The
now.
ads are gonna be at least $2,500.
All right, let's, okay. We're gonna have to cut that. But here's,
That's the minimum you can do and get people to come in here.
you're
That's just
gonna have to
local
cut it.
papers.
The ads, that's people advertising, driving around, print, what exactly falls under?
It's ads in the local papers before, the week before Heritage Days.
Well,
And then I also advertise in 10 neighborhood papers in Cobb and Cherokee County to get people in here.
some of it's $900.
Well, the $900 is over 1 million people. That includes 10 papers, including the Marietta Daily Journal,
Well,
the Cherokee Tribune. The $900 isn't just for one ad in one paper. It covers 9 papers.
well, I mean, like I say, here's the thing, I mean, we ain't got so much money. If we spend 27,000 on this over here, then we ain't gonna have a whole lot left. That's the thing. You know,
Well, then you need to decide. I've already got people wanting to know when they're gonna get their application. You've got to decide how much you're gonna charge them this year.
well, I mean, I thought you were the chairman of that, and, you know,
What do we charge
So
now?
You,
no, you and Mark was gonna get together on that. So,
What are we charging now roughly?
it was
well,
their price.
last year we tried something that didn't work. We were charging different prices based on where they were located. But then when the higher price spaces was empty, we wound up moving people up. So we were gonna average out what we, and when I figured it up and averaged it out, it came out about $75 per spot. And that was average.
75 per spot. And how many spots are there?
I think there's close to 70.
One time we had 80, or almost 80.
Well, it'd be 80, because I mean, we can put them over here behind the schoolhouse, so it could be 80.
So let's just say 80. How many past? Y'all,
Last year we had 67, I think.
you know, roughly before that,
We've had 70 something.
if you've come close to filling up before.
Pretty close, yeah, pretty much. I mean, because one year we had everybody back here, even behind the schoolhouses.
What were your income total? Does it not show what's your rentals for your booths were?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out what it would be if we do a 75
Okay.
overall.
So like, say 75 per booth, and say 65, that's $4,875 off of 65. So we should base it off of the lease that we've got.
Mhm. But now, in order to get those 65, people have got to go out here where these vendors are and hand out applications and stuff and invite them to come. Because we tried running ads in the paper to get people to come, and that didn't work. It was like they didn't see it. I know Mark Paulette, some of the other owners even went to the antique magazines and put ads in. Still didn't work. The only thing that works is to go word of mouth, is how it works. Mark Paulette do a great job to all the auctions and stuff that they go, they talk it up. They keep pamphlets in their car. I used to go to a lot of the stuff and pass them out. I can't afford to do that anymore, so.
I got you.
well, you know, the problem is that nobody's got the time, you know, to do it, so, I mean.
I didn't say I didn't have the time. I said I don't have the money. I can't afford to
Alright,
put the
well,
miles on my car to go do it.
Well, I mean, you know, like I
So
say,
time
I
doesn't
mean,
have anything to do with it.
well, I mean, most everybody else don't have, you know, the time. So anyway, y'all think about that, because we really need to set that budget, Thursday and see, you know, what that is. The next item is the property next door. The council approved 20,000 on the purchase of the property. And,
The property's really supposed to be discussed in executive session.
it doesn't have to.
When you're discussing price, it does.
It's gonna come out. I mean, I don't understand why we gotta go close doors. I mean, you know, we don't have to. So,
Because if it becomes public what you're offering, if somebody else wants it, they can go and outbid you on the property. That's why it's done that way.
well,
To not let people basically know that the property's available, so we started bidding more.
executive session, so, but anyway, the price was originally 20,000, that's what we, said, and my understanding is it's 25 now, plus around $2,500.
Well,
attorney fees.
Okay, explain why it's $2,500, 25,000.
Because of the price.
Right, well, you need to state that in a public meeting, if that's why, no, just say that they raised the price to 25,000.
You already stated that. She'd already stated it, she already stated that the appraisal came in at 25,000. And then like I say, attorney fees is 25, so right now it's around 27.5. Yeah. And then we got $1,300.
But now, I do have a question in to Henry. Since we're not gonna have to condemn the property, there's a possibility that we might could get them to go back to the original 20. If we condemn, you have to go by the appraised amount. Court won't let you do anything less than what it appraised for. But I doubt very seriously at this point that we'll be able to talk them back down. We have got all three people on that have agreed to split the money evenly, and that will get rid of the lien on the property. The lien holder has agreed to accept a third of the profits on the house, and the two property owners are more than willing to do that as well. But that's where the 25,000 came from, was because when the appraisal was done, they appraised it at 25,000.
Bobby, how much did you say around 54 was in the checking account now? And we only have one CD left, is that right?
No.
Than one.
Yeah,
Well, but one's the schoolhouse, right? 10,000 at schoolhouse.
no, I thought there was another one.
No, I thought we cashed that one in. That was
Well,
the
we may
35.
have.
That was 35 that came, that we,
It wasn't 35,000. If you're looking at this on here, that's the money we transferred from one account to the other.
no, it says right here, it says Integra CD, 35,100. That was what y'all had said,
Where?
B, on B. You had come in to the city council and said that we thought we had another CD and it could have been the 35.
I said I thought we had another CD and that I did not know how much it was, and gave you some numbers on what had been in there. But I did not know how much it was.
Well, anyway, I heard the 35, and right there it says Integra CD, 35,000. No, it's B. I wrote the letter.
The CD was included in that. They took the CD, and we explained this in a meeting when this deposit was discussed. That when we went out there to close out the account, they took the CD and cashed it in, put it into the Integra account, and then wrote a check for the balance that was in there, which included the CD.
Okay, don't.
And it was like $10,000 or something, for a total of 35.
Anyway, I believe we only have a CD for 20, and the other 10 CD is for the schoolhouse grant.
Do you have, the schoolhouse is 8,000, is the schoolhouse.
Okay.
And there is one that's 20,
Yeah.
and there may be I still think we may have two, but we may not. I mean, because the one that we cashed in was the one we didn't know anything about. I'll just have to go back and look on previous statements and see what she had down, because
I'm gonna see what's
I didn't
in
deal with
there.
those on a
Okay.
daily
Can you
basis,
see
so.
that?
But when we first discussed talking about buying the house, that $20,000 CD is what was gonna be used. We didn't even know about the other one. So this $20,000 is the one that they had discussed using to purchase that property.
Anyway, I've got 54,000 somewhere else in the bank, and then I know one CD is 20,000. Like I say, I don't know about the other, but I don't think we've got another one, but like I say, I ain't 100% sure. So you take, I think it says equals 27, so it leaves us 27,000 in that account.
Suggesting somebody wants to do anything about 2 acres up there to sell it. Everybody wanted it because they wanted to put a fire department up there. They wanted to put a new community building up there. So we went and bought it, and now everybody's changed their mind. So I say we sell it and get rid of it.
But we might need that for sewer.
At the one on the corner.
Yeah. Like I say, so y'all think about that. So the process would be, you know, if y'all approve on, 27.5 to purchase, the property, we'd have to have a public hearing to amend the budget to increase the budget 27.5 to purchase the property. Like I say, that's all I have discussed. Here is the profit and loss last year. It's-
There is a 10,000 and a 20,000.
But the
They
10,000,
don't make references to being a schoolhouse or anything, one just says 12 months.
no, one of them,
21.
one is,
But
one
the
of them.
schoolhouse is 8,000. It's not an even number.
No,
That's the only two that show.
no, what about the checking account? Checking
Oh, it's
account.
800 something dollars in
Yeah,
the
so
schoolhouse fund.
No, there's a schoolhouse CD for $8,000.
I think it's always been 10, is what it's been
Would it
showing
be
on.
somewhere else other than,
Originally it was 10, but then they took some out for fees, so it's not just a flat $10,000.
Well, we'll have to ask-
well, I mean,
Well,
this is
that-
10,000 and some dollars.
You'll
I mean,
need
it's
to, you'll need to call the bank, and, I mean, Jesse's got it in there
not- Well, I mean,
somewhere.
I'm looking at the bank.
Oh.
I'm looking at the bank, community bank. Would it be at another bank? That's the only
No,
four things that's
no.
there.
No.
That's it. There's only 2 CDs at the bank.
So one's 20, one's 10, so the 10 is the schoolhouse. And then the schoolhouse count for 830 to checking account. Okay.
And then there's just 52,000.
Oh,
The
52.
the 8,000 that was, I know what it was now, the 8,000, and that may be what's included in this Integra, was an $8,000 CD where they put the leftover funds from the first park grant. And I think that's what we cashed in and put in this.
Okay. To go over this with you right here, this, if you go down the list, I got, did I mark yours? No, I didn't mark yours. I'll mark it. I went down through A, B, C, and went on down the line, I hope. And if I got a number by it, it references one of these sheets right here that shows you somewhat what was accounted for. The first A is tax, property tax is what we brought in here, and then the transfer, which is a total of 55,000. It shows you, and then the next one, just the way that thing prints it out, that was the total tax bill before the local option sales tax. So that's
Which one are
why
you looking at?
the uncategory under income, 14,000, that'd be the last item under income. Be 14,340, 43.
But did it say that was actually deposited?
No.
No,
that's-
they're
Okay.
that's
coming
why-
off at the bottom.
See, that's
So it's
why,
coming off,
that's.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's what I was saying, because that's what Jesse and I went through last year.
But that's the total that bills out on their statement that they
Oh.
get, yeah.
So anyway, So that-
Taxes aren't $14,000.
No, I know, but that's what it bills out without. when you
Without
take
the
off two.
rollback.
Yeah,
Well,
the
and
5%.
that, and that's why I said that it was in such a shape. There's some stuff that's in there that you can't take out, that somebody put in there in error,
right.
and that's why that number is so high.
Okay, so anyway, that's how come that income right there, total income is so high, is that it's, transferring the funds and stuff, and then the, 14. But you go on down here to the transfer under, this debit, see, I think this debit of $16,900, or $16,194.17 is added up at the top there for some reason. I don't know why that's doing that, but we're gonna try to.
Yeah,
fix
it
that.
expenses
Well,
it back
QuickBooks
out.
couldn't even figure
Yeah.
out why it was
It
doing that.
expenses it back out, but it looks weird.
Yeah.
So, the next item would be administrative, in which that was all the council members and stuff last year and the clerk, of that. And then the last item, on that page is the utilities for this, and that includes the propane and, stuff. The next item on the back side, I think should be like G.
Mhm.
That is, I printed that out. One of them was a gift card for the, golf tournament, and then another was, we sent,
Flowers.
well, it was actually to Bernhardt's, yes.
Yeah,
And then-
we actually paid on
Oh,
it.
okay.
Instead of flowers,
Yeah.
we did
Yeah, that worked.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next thing is collection, that would be, and like I say, that's not Chad's total salary, that's why I printed that. So Chad's is in there with that, with some other stuff. We need to set up, or,
Yeah, at
you
one
know,
point,
Chad.
it wasn't split correctly on some months, is why
Well, but
it's
this,
that.
this got card services and everything in there, so I mean, it's not, it's, for trash bags and stuff, so. So anyway, we need one that says, you know, the trash man or whatever. And then the park maintenance, that'd be the same thing. That's not all Chad, but it's come out to 14,000.
That should say collection labor is what it should say.
Yeah, and then, like I say, here again, that's why I printed that sheet off. That's not all Chad, but Chad's salary or payment is in that. And of course, you know, we talked about, Heritage Days and the tourism other was 300 up there. The town maintenance, again, some stuff got into Chad's there. And then this is where the rollback of the sales tax comes back off, $8,989.25. Alright, so we roughly spent 85,000 or something last year, and we took in 87 something, so it was like $2,000.
I have a question. Why was the tree lighting almost $1,000?
I don't know. I mean, like I say, I just print, you know.
Cause how much did you spend on lights? I know we had to buy new lights.
It wasn't $100.
Well, the tree was only 130, wasn't it? 130, 140?
Well, that's what I say. I mean, without, with, and like I say, I don't think it will be quite as bad, but like I say, we need to set up the online version of QuickBooks, sort of with the line of the uniform accounting that the state really
And
requires
there's
us
a
to do.
form in there, but you can put more detail into it,
Yeah.
code budget for it.
So,
And I've been working on one, trying to straighten out so it would be easier for people to understand.
So anyway, when we set up the online version that we voted on and stuff,
When are we gonna do that? So we can get rid of this?
it has time. Anyway, like I say, you can tell that, this is the best I could do and everything. And like I say, I about had a heart attack when total expenses was 121, 9044, which it wasn't actually, so.
Right.
But like I say, I mean, it scared me to death, but anyway. But one thing that I did find that, you know, like I say, we have to operate within the budget that we approve unless we amend the budget through public hearing and stuff on that. So we have to
Sure
work.
you have a public hearing on that?
Anytime that you amend the budget.
I don't think I've ever seen one for the city of Jackson, County in the paper.
I think so, yeah.
Do they print, they don't print them in if they amend it, do they? Do they, Ralph?
Not at Nelson, they don't.
See, that's what I'm saying, I don't think
They
you
said
have to
that-
do your original budget, but you can do amendments, I think, within your council. Now, you may wanna have a public hearing on it, but I don't think you have to go to the trouble, I really don't think you have to do that.
I don't know, we'll ask Jeff. Like I say, I mean, when we vote on it, whichever way we go, we can ask Jeff to make sure, but I wanna make sure. And I think that was, I don't know, I think maybe I asked it, but anyway. I just wanna make sure that we follow,
Well, I can understand that, but that's just,
yeah, so.
And the tree services obviously has something.
At Nelson's last meeting,
what?
they voted to do away with the police
Because that's
department.
from
Right.
And they had still $30,000 budgeted for it, and they moved to
Okay.
put that into
Okay.
their general fund.
I think I remember, something on that, yes.
So it's probably.
If
something
you
from
do
Forest
not-
Services from December of 2016.
I think you still have to have a public hearing. But if you shift money around,
See, I don't know.
in the general fund, as long as you're not taking money out of somewhere else. I mean, if it's in the budget, you can do it from one department to the other without
Right.
having to, you know, as long as you don't go over the balanced budget. But if you go over the balanced budget, I think you have to have a public hearing on that. Like I say again, we'll ask Jeff to make sure, you know, but I just wanna make sure that nobody comes after us.
Yeah, your tree lighting's not right either, because it's got stuff back from January 2017, and it shouldn't have.
Like I say, I mean, you know, I just try
But
to do.
unfortunately, it's showing for 2017, you know, so.
Wow.
So is it January of 2016 as
No,
well?
it's.
And now, it may
January
have been
2017.
something that
But it
was
was
bought
for
on the credit
December.
card and just,
Oh.
Yeah.
but I still think about it, because we didn't buy lots last year. So I can't understand, and we only paid like $40 for the tree last year, so.
Like I say, I don't know. One of the policies, that, and we're almost done, one of the policies is, I did find it in our code, is that we follow, and we might want to fine tune it a little bit, but it does say that we follow the records retention of the state of Georgia, and it gives the actual code of the Georgia, to follow. So, we just might want to redefine that a little bit and everything, because some things you don't have to keep, and then some things you do have to keep forever, on that. And the last thing, and we can think about this, and we can think about it till the next meeting, but, on page 50 of your, Georgia ethics book, Ethics in Government, on page 50, it gives you a sample ordinance, and, so if everybody wants to read that, and maybe our next work session, one of the things is there's several alternate ways to how a board set up. One is appoint a judge, you know, to oversee it. One is, like I said, you can read it. But anyway, I would like to see us adopt something like that. We can actually become a ethics certified city through Georgia Municipal Association if we do a resolution and an ordinance. I don't know why you gotta do a resolution and an ordinance, but that's one of the things they said. So anyway, y'all wanna read up on that, and that's one of the things that we like. I did have a copy of a purchase resolution or ordinance. You know, it talks about, you know, purchasing with a credit card and stuff like that, so, but I forgot it, so like I said, we'll do that at the next work session. If y'all go online and find any others out there, we'll look at that too, and that'll give us a guideline of purchasing off the card and stuff. Like I say, I want to get copies of this, the code and the charter and the code that we have here. A copy to everybody so they can start looking over it and everything. But like I said, we'll have to have a lot of paper and ink. But like I say, we want everybody to have a copy of this.
And I have binders, so don't go buy any more binders.
So, on that. And that way we can start actually working and take, you know, from the front to the back. You know, and start looking at,
I am
Right.
going, I called them and they didn't get back with me, I'm gonna call them again. I'm gonna call over to the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. They can pull, they can go in and pull ordinances, code books from towns similar to our size, and they'll send them to us. They'll even come over here and help us at no charge.
well, I think
Yes.
the municipal, I mean, does the Georgia Municipal do the same thing?
They're not as friendly.
I
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying, I'm just saying that
Well,
I'm gonna call them and get them to send me some, so, you know, it
well,
don't cost me
what I,
anything, so.
what I'd like to see is some policies. I mean, you know, as far as travel expenses, you know, meals, stuff like that, when I have to go to training, some, you know, some policies and stuff that, you know, we, put down and stuff. And then, like I say, ordinances, and, like I say, I'll try next week to get these printed, and Buffy will, to get those binders, and then we'll start putting together and get it to y'all, so y'all can start reading and stuff. Everything. I think that's all I have.
Something else that you need to be aware of, have you considered what you're gonna do about that soil, the issuing authority?
As far as,
I told you got to either, I've
Oh.
either got to go back to school
Well-
or you got, and
Well,
it's got to be done. You got to vote on it this month, because mine runs out in March. Did you talk to Jamie and see which
no,
ones he
but I
had?
mean, but I know he's got it, or,
Well, he has to have both of them. He has to have the blue and the red.
I'll ask him. If I know somebody else that I know has it. So do you think that by March you're gonna have the?
I hope so. He told me it wouldn't take long.
All right, so in March, we'll start setting up, we'll look at, since we'll be the issuing authority again, I guess the first thing we need to look at is the soil and erosion and building.
Well, now your
inspection
soil
stuff.
erosion is mandated. You don't have to look at that, you just approve the new one on that. You
Right,
gotta
right.
look at your building. What you're saying is your building,
Okay.
two separate things.
Well, anyway, we'll look at those. Well, as far as cost, I mean, there's a cost, I mean, can we not charge people or something for?
Yes,
Okay, so that's something else.
yeah. I mean, you can charge, what we did with Meadowlands is they had to pay a fee when they applied for their, building permit. You know, they had to, I didn't charge them every time I went out for an inspection because it, you know, I didn't really inspect the house. I just inspected to make sure that there was no runoff or anything going, because some of those are along the creek. But yeah, I mean, you can charge, and I mean, it can be very beneficial, especially with what this property owner's wanting to do. And then the other property behind it, there's 800 something acres that's up for sale. And if that gets developed,
Okay, anything else? Everybody pretty much,
alright. Another thing y'all need to consider, because it's getting that time, we need to vote that we're not doing the egg hunt. We need to put that on the list, because that's coming up. And didn't we decide we weren't gonna spend the money on the egg hunt?
yeah,
Okay, we need to vote on that.
but when is that?
I think, is Easter in March or April?
But I mean, it's after the March.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you've gotta do it, because if they decide they want to have it, then the candy has to be ordered now. Because we have all those eggs and stuff.
April 1st.
Yeah, see? So, I mean, we need to decide this month, because it takes a while to stuff 1,500 eggs. So we need to decide.
Okay. All right, that'd be, one item to approve on that. So has anybody else got anything else? Mary, did you wanna talk about the website, or was we gonna wait?
I guess we need to get some stuff from Jesse, right?
Right, and then you was gonna, do you want me to ask the council if it's okay for you to contact?
Well, I guess I'll talk to Jesse to find out more about the domain, because it seems to be a gray area. And if she has a login, then maybe we have more than I know that y'all have. But I mean, if y'all wanna, I'll bring
And I'm sorry,
the,
I don't
No,
know
it's
what they're
fine.
doing, so.
I just was
It
concerned,
was
because
set
again,
up
y'all's
with-
name is not on the, and that's
Well,
just not
it-
good practice.
it
But I
was-
recognize his name, so I bet I do know him.
Yeah, it was set up when Jessica and I both came back on board, so, you know, Jesse took care of that, I didn't.
But like I said, we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the email, because that's what I said, if I could get with him, we can get the email going faster, and then I can still design it, because I can point the email. So I'll bring that for y'all to all fill out, to give me emails and passwords. I have a list, but since everyone's
Do you
not
have
here,
his
I'll do
number?
that it's on the contact, but I'll get with it's on the record. But I won't do anything till I talk to Jesse, and then Thursday night, I'll bring up something for y'all to sign up, email addresses, how y'all want them, and passwords. And then when, as soon as I get with him, we can get that going, and then I can design it. So we kind of move it forward.
There is one other thing that we need to clarify, that we knew it was gonna cost a little bit more at the beginning, and then after everything got squared away, it's, but the ad in the paper actually said 10 to 15 hours a week, but it's actually 10 to 15 hours a month, is what we put in the paper.
And that's what we clarified in the meeting that night too,
Okay.
because somebody asked that and we clarified it.
All right, so now, just want to make sure that, if you divide 15, which is the max, by 300, that divides up to $20 an hour.
Right,
So now we're in agreement that if she goes over the 15 hours, that we're paying her $20 an hour after that.
But there needs to be a limit, I mean, I'm sorry, but we can't have $1,000 pop up one month that we're,
Well, but I can argue that we paid,
it don't matter what we did in the past, Randy. It's moving forward, and we need to keep going back, stop going back,
right,
okay?
but the thing about it is it's gotta get done.
I know it's gotta get done, but also, as you just got through saying, we have a budget.
And that was put in her budget,
Right,
so,
but I'm just saying, there needs to be a cap on it, okay?
but some of this stuff needs to get done, cause like I say, we need to do.
I can assure you, I'm not gonna be here enough to work $1,000.
Right,
No, I understand that, I understand that, but it has to be clarified when it's put in the minutes. Because if you don't, I guarantee you, somebody's gonna come back and something's gonna be said.
alright, but the budget's already set for her, for the 54. I mean, this stuff has got, I mean,
But the 54, Randy, that's what I'm saying. You've got to be careful if you're paying her $20 an hour, or by the end of the year, you're gonna be over budget. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying not pay her.
right,
I'm just saying you've got to be careful,
Well,
because this is just February.
I understand that, but stuff has to get done. I mean, there's no way around that the stuff has to get in order and things have to, E-Verify and, talking to the Jordan Municipal Association and all like that, getting everything, because, they've still got Carroll and some others listed down there. It's not,
And Randy, I've already sent that to them 3 times.
so.
It takes them forever to change it. But seriously, they have asked me for it 3 times when I've called down there because they would bring it up, and I gave them all the information.
Alright, anybody else got anything? Alright, we'll see y'all Thursday, 6:30.